Hello students, in this video we'll see an example of hypothesis testing where we compute the probability of a type 1 error, a type 2 error, and the power of a test. So let's be given a distribution. The distribution is f of x and depending on parameter p, which is p plus 1 x to the power p for x between 0 and 1. So that's my probability distribution for a random variable x. And I'm going to construct a null hypothesis. H0 is my null hypothesis. And that's going to be that p is equal to 1. And now I'm going to construct an alternative hypothesis. The alternative hypothesis is that p is equal to 2. And now I'm going to construct a criterion under which I reject the null hypothesis. So reject H0 in favor of HA if the sample that you drew was bigger than 0.9. Okay? So let's find the probability of a type 1 error. So the probability of type 1 error, a type 1 error, is the probability of rejecting the null hypothesis, rejecting null, reject H0, given that H0 is true. Okay? All right? And so when do I reject H0? I reject H0 in that range, right? So when H0 is true, that means that p is equal to 1. And I reject if the sample is bigger than 0.9. So that's the probability that x is bigger than 0.9, given that p is equal to 1. And of course, that's just the survival function. It's going to be the integral from 0.9 up to 1 of now p is equal to 1, so this is a 2x. So 2x dx. So that gives me an x squared from 0.9 up to 1. And that gives me a 1 minus 0.81, which is going to give me a 19. Okay, great. All right. Now let's find the probability of a type 2 error. Probability of a type 2 is the probability that we accept or fail to reject H0, given that H0 is false. Well, if H0 is false, that means that H alternative is true. Okay? And so what is this over here? This is going to be the probability that x is less than 0.9, given that p is equal to 2. Okay? So what is that? That's going to be the integral from 0 to 0.9. Now p is equal to 2, so I'm going to have a 3x squared dx. That's going to be x cubed. X cubed from 0 up to 0.9. And that gives me a 0.9 cubed. So 0.9 cubed is the probability of a type 2 error, right? And so of course we can write this as just going to be a well, we can just leave that in the following form. So that's going to be just 9/10, 9 cubed over 10 cubed if you want, right? So you can just plug that into the calculator. All right. Now, what's the power of the test? The power of the test is 1 minus the probability of a type 2 error. And so that's just going to be a 1 minus 0.9 cubed. And that's the power of the test. Thank you very much.